How goes it, everybody? I am the world famous Fat Kid, and we are doing Week 5 recap. Um, Only 14 games this week, and wow, we didn't do very well. That's the best I can say. Didn't do very well, but still 500, 7-7. I mean, not impressive, but still haven't done a losing week yet. That's that's the silver lining right there, okay? I mean, could be worse, could be better. Let's get through it, okay? So, starting with Thursday night's game, Bears Commanders. Like this, I was actually kind of worried about this because the Bears offense has actually played really well, and the Commanders have been pretty solid, but all it takes is the Bears not to choke the game away, which, they didn't. I mean, they went up 27-3 at halftime, and it was just Washington just did not have an answer. So they could not stop DJ Moore, who had a that's the best I got. I mean, what do we got? 8 catches, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's just absolutely insane. Yeah, the game sealer, ridiculous. But Sam Howell, that's a bright spot for Washington. He's been playing really good. 388 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did throw a pick, but Howell's young. Maybe that's what Washington needs? Question mark. Yeah, I chose the Commanders and got it wrong. So that sucks. All right, moving on to the international. Buffalo, Jacksonville. Jaguars actually stayed over in London and, got accustomed, acclimated, whatever, however you want to put it, to the time, the sleep, all that fun stuff, the practice schedule. And I mean, it kind of showed. Jags looked all right until they got to the red zone. Bills, oh my goodness, so many penalties. I don't know what was going on. So many penalties, and actually so many people getting hurt. Like, that's never a good thing. They lost 2 guys, I believe, to season-ending injuries. Milano, one of their core linebackers, and a defensive tackle. I don't remember the other guy. I'm sorry. I can't keep everything straight. But that really sucks for Buffalo. But I mean, they kept it close throughout the game. Like, Jacksonville's offense in the red zone is just absolutely terrible. Just before half, giving up the ball when they could have just increased their lead. Ridiculous. But it happens. Jacksonville's D, though, came to play, and they kept the big plays to a minimum. Josh Allen still threw for 359 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he couldn't get the big play when he needed it. And that's what you ask for from your defense. Bend, don't break kind of stuff, I mean, the last 4 minutes of that game, what was it? 3, 4, maybe 5 different lead changes. I'm not 100% sure, but it was just crazy how much it went back and forth. Travis Etienne, 26 carries, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. The big one to finally put the game out of reach with under 2 minutes left in the game. I mean, apparently Etienne just loves playing over there. He's gone over 125 yards every game, I believe. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that one. You will anyway. Yeah, I picked the Bills, and we start out 0-2. Fantastic. So, moving on to I can't say it was a good game, depending on your fandom, of course. Colts Titans. Colts 23, Titans 16. I mean, it was a one-score game, and it was 10-7 at half. 10-6. I don't remember. But and Anthony Richardson saying all these great things about him. He could be the quarterback for the Colts. He just can't stay healthy, and now he's injured reserve. He's out for at least 4, and they're expecting at 4 to 8 weeks is what they're expecting. Like, this kid is going to jeopardize his career at the very beginning of it. And, I mean, yeah, you're a quarterback. You're trying to impress everybody, but, geez, you got to protect yourself, man. But I hope he gets healthy because he's looked promising in the 4 games he's played. Like, he's looked really good. Speaking of looking really good, Zach Moss, another big game. What was it? 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, the Colts obviously got the steal of the year for them. I mean, he's just, with no Jonathan Taylor, who actually came back to practice this week. Moss has just been crushing it. Yeah, not much to say. Titans, DeAndre Hopkins, 8 catches, 140 yards. But you're not going to have much with Tannehill as your quarterback. Anyway, I picked the Colts. Got it right. Yeah, moving on to Saints Patriots. This was just disgusting. Like, two bad offenses. One worse than the other. I mean, I'm going to give just a skosh, just a little smidge of leeway to Derek Carr because he's still hurt. I guarantee it. But still, if you're going to play, you should be playing at a higher level. But anyway, Saints Patriots, terrible. Like, terrible. Honey Badger got a pick 6 to essentially just kill the Patriots. I mean, Mac Jones cannot be the answer, right? And yet they're going to keep going with him. But that whole team needs an overhaul. So, ding dong, the dynasty's dead. Which old Anyway. Yeah, pick the Saints. Big win. So here we go to AFC North. Just, ugly game. Another one of 2 bad offenses. But which one was worse? Well, Steelers won 17-10 over the Ravens. The Ravens were worse. Like, their struggles on offense have been well documented by me, by, not other analysts, actual analysts. How about that? I mean, unless you're a delusional Ravens fan, you have to see that there's a problem, right? I can't tell you what it is necessarily, other than they have a running back at quarterback, but come fight me. I don't care. I mean, Lamar throws a pick in the red zone. Immediately, Pittsburgh takes the lead. With a chance on a drive to win the game or take the lead. Your running back fumbles it away. Baltimore gives the ball back, and the offensive line does not protect Lamar Jackson, and TJ Watt gets a 4th down with a sack to turn the ball over on downs and just end the game. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Baltimore. I picked them to win because the Steelers' offense is trash. It's terrible. Pickett is not good. I mean, Pickens maybe, but it's the Steelers. They're not good. But they got the win, so there's another loss. And actually, to a good game. To a good game. It was kind of defensive early, but Falcons-Texans. I said it in my picks that I think this could be one of the better games of the week. It depends on your definition of a good game, but I mean, the defenses were showing up, and late, offenses started moving the ball. And, I mean, CJ Stroud could be the real deal. I mean, he's played really well recently, and he showed that. I'm not going to say he's got ice in his veins or any of those, but he took the team down, scored a touchdown to take the lead late. The defense kind of gave it away and let Atlanta move, but that also shows that Ritter made the plays when he needed to. So it's a little bit of both. They're both young teams. I think they're both going to be better than what I anticipated. So we'll see what happens. I picked Houston. Obviously, Falcons won it with a field goal, 37-yard field goal as time expired. That was pretty good. Only a minute 49 left, and they used the whole clock to get into field goal range. It was actually textbook 2-minute drill. They did really well. Yeah, I chose the Texans. They lost 21-19. On to more of a lock of a game. Lions-Panthers. Yeah, it went about like I thought. Panthers did a little bit more than I figured, though. I thought it was going to be just a rout, but Panthers tried to hang in there and just couldn't keep up. 42-24. Not bad for the Panthers, but they just could not overcome Montgomery just punching them in the mouth to start. And then Sam Laporta, woo, big game out of him. 47 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yardage-wise, no, but a multi-touchdown game. I say that's pretty big. That's also, let's see here. 19.7 points in fantasy if you're doing PPR. I would take that out of a tight end. But Thielen, speaking of that, Thielen, 11 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Could he be having a resurgence in Carolina? Maybe. I don't know. I might look into it. But yeah, Panthers just couldn't overcome the fast start. They tried, but 3 turnovers, that does not help at all. So yeah, I don't know when Carolina's going to get their first win of the year. I know they will. They'll win a game. But it's definitely not going to be next week. They're going to go 0-6. Anyway, I picked the Lions. We're back in the win column. Let's move on to who the Panthers will be playing next week. The Dolphins taking on the Giants this week. Dolphins 31, Giants 16. I mean, Miami controlled the game. They pushed the ball wherever they wanted to. Late pick 6 in the first half. Like, cool. Take those points away. It's still 31-9. Okay? The Giants are bad. We can all agree on that. Everybody and their grandma can see that, okay? So, let's see. The only thing is, A-Chain. I don't know. I may have mispronounced the hell out of his name. I apologize if I did, but he's out. He got hurt early in the fourth quarter, and he's now on IR. Which, is not a big loss for the Dolphins because they have Mostert, who's been playing wonderfully. But this kid, what was it, 468 in the 4 games that he's really played? Kid's insane. Speaking of insane, of course, Tyreek Hill, which I don't like Tyreek Hill, but call me a hater, I don't care. 8 catches, 181 yards, and a touchdown. Like, yeah, we'll move on from there. And of course, Darren Waller, I drop him in fantasy, and of course he actually starts putting up points. Well, whoever picked him up, you're welcome. Congratulations. Anyway, I took the Dolphins over the Giants. We're going back into the win column. So here we go. I said last week before, I would not pick the Bengals until they started to look like themselves. This may have been the game. Bengals 34, Cardinals 20. Burrow 317, 3 touchdowns, threw a pick, but I mean, whatever. Jamar Chase, 15 catches, 192 yards, all 3 of Burrow's touchdowns. Crazy. That's all I got. Crazy. Like, it was a 1-score game at half. And then just Cardinals, like, disappeared. What was it? They got outscored 17-6 in the second half. It was 17-14. And then the Cardinals just disappeared. That's more of what I thought we'd see out of the Cardinals this year, is just flat play. I'm a little disappointed, especially since I picked the Cardinals. But it looks like I'm going to be going back to the Bengals. They look like they've fixed their issues. Burrow looks healthy. Chase is 7-Eleven, open 24 hours, all that fun stuff. But this week, I picked the Cardinals. Boo. We don't like it. Let's see here. Eagles-Rams. This game was kind of fun to watch. They both scored on their opening drives. They went back and forth. Just the offensive line for Philly they were just bullies, pushing around everybody on the defense for the Rams. Like, the yardage didn't really tell the tale because they did like 6 brotherly shoves and got them all. It was crazy. And the other story was Cooper Kupp coming back. First game back from injury. Welcome back, Mr. Kupp, because holy crap. 8 catches, 118 yards. And I believe he was decoy on the Nakua touchdown, who went 7 catches, 71 yards himself. So, that's a pretty good game. Come back, get over 100 yards, and help your teammate get a touchdown. Sweet. I mean, or you could just be A.J. Brown, get 6 catches, 127 yards, but whatever. Philly's dangerous. Philly and San Francisco, but see, out of those two, San Fran. Like, I think it goes San Fran, then Philly. Am I crazy? Probably, but not for that. Okay. Yeah, I took the Eagles. Eagles won. Boom. And we go to Jets-Broncos. Broncos are bad. The Jets are bad. And for some odd reason, the Jets got another safety. I think this is 2 weeks in a row. Penalty in the end zone. You can argue it if you want about the Chiefs. You can argue it about this one. It goes in the book as safeties. Get over it. Breece Hall, 177 yards and only 1 touchdown, which I say only, but I figured that amount of yards he'd have more. But Whatever. I mean, what is wrong with the Broncos? What is wrong with them? We thought it was Hackett. Thought it was Wilson. That combination. Bringing Sean Payton, a better coach than Hackett. And same thing going on. Something's just broken in Denver, which that kind of makes me happy. But we don't have to get into it. Let's see here. But I stupidly picked the Broncos. They ended up choking it away. All right. Next up, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. Chiefs-Vikings. First play of the game. I'm going to go with this. First play of the game. Vikings. Big catch over the middle. Sweet. He's going downfield. Gets a guy around his waist. Sees somebody being blocked. And lowers his shoulder and goes into that guy instead of, I'm going to go away from him. Ends up getting the ball punched out. Fumble on the first play. Good job, Minnesota. Woohoo! Obviously, KC turns it into a touchdown. Anyway, at least Minnesota had it tied at halftime. Right? Yeah, that doesn't mean much. Minnesota's just cursed. Their season's done, especially with Jefferson now at least being out for 4 weeks. That's all I'm going to say right there. All right, I picked the Chiefs, of course. They beat the Vikings. Woo. Okay, moving on to the Sunday night game. This was a test game for the Cowboys. This was slated as potential best game of the week. 49ers, Cowboys. Oh, wow. Did the Niners put a beating on those Cowboys? Like, it was, I don't know if it was fair. Like, that was just brutal. It honestly went how I thought it would go. I figured the 49ers would just crush them. I thought it'd be with Christian McCaffrey, but Purdy, 252 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 of those to George Kittle. Shout out George Kittle. But, I mean, yeah, Dallas, you're in playoff form early. I love it. I love it. Anyway, I picked the Niners. Whoa, I almost really said something bad. I picked the Niners. They obviously delivered. They crushed the Cowboys. Fantastic. Now, going into Monday night's game, I was 7-6. This is a bittersweet game because I picked the Packers. That would have sealed the winning record for me. And of course, what do? Jordan Love goes out, 182 yards, 3 picks. Just gets harassed by Max Crosby all game. Shout out to the Condor. Oh, only player that we should really keep. And like, what is going on? We can't do a good offensive game. Well, I don't think we've had a good offensive game for the Raiders at all this year. But the defense, actually 3 turnovers, applying pressure, like making plays. But the offense does very little. Although I will say, thank you to Matt LaFleur for immediately abandoning the run after that opening turnover. Jimmy Glass comes out, throws a pick, 37 yards to go for the Packers. A.J. Dillon just runs the ball down their throats, scores a touchdown, and you don't see Dillon for the rest of the game, essentially. Thank you, Matt LaFleur. Anyway, The Raiders are terrible. They should not have won this game. That just shows the Packers are going through major growing pains right now. I don't know how I feel about the win because I want to fire Josh McDaniels. But anyway. So yeah, if you haven't seen the game-ending pick, Amik Robertson, it was really nice. You can argue pass interference, hand fighting, jockeying for position, whatever. The athleticism it took for him to get up, make the adjustment in the air, and pin it to his body, you can't argue that. They're still garbage, but that one play was really nice. But with that game and this week, that moves my overall season record to 45-34. It's winning. I should have stuck with my preseason picks. There I'm 50-28. But I've made my picks. I've made my bed. Now I lay in it. So hopefully we start getting some bigger wins over the weeks. Some larger gaps in the wins and losses. And we finish out with a strong record. But until the next video, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one. See ya.